Jobina, when did you realize that this show was shot in a single take? Did you notice that?
No. What?
There were no they never cut. The camera, there was one camera and it was shot in a single take.
That's incredible.
So here's the thing. I didn't notice it until I rewatched it. From going from his house to the police station, it's every episode is one long take.
Whoa. I don't know how I missed that.
That's
incredible.
When you go back and watch it, I'm
going to go back and rewatch.
Phenomenal. All right, we're talking about Adolescence. Let's start the show. Hey everyone, this is Luther Palmer.
And I'm Jobina Scott.
And welcome to One Episode Stand, a podcast here to help you figure out what new shows to watch and what to skip.
Now, you are all familiar with one-night stands. You're probably having them. Some of you are on your way to one right now. But we are having, you might be.
Not on the way.
We are having on the way. Hope you're listening to this in the car.
Right.
We are having One Episode Stands. Simply put, we watch and discuss the premiere of a new streaming show.
And then, like the Rolling Stones we are, and the Rolling Stones you might be, we move on to another show. We love them and leave them. We hit it and quit it. We smash and dash, but we do it for you, the listeners. Jobina, we're going to get to Adolescence. But tell the people what else you're watching.
Okay, so y'all, I flagged this show for you, Luther, as soon as I saw it advertised because I was like, this is gonna be good. And I'm watching it right now on Hulu. Y'all, I found my password. I'm fully delivered from one platform. I am watching it on Hulu. It's called Dying for Sex. So this show is about this woman who is terminally ill.
Yeah.
And goes on quite a sexcapade in pursuit of her own joy and happiness and fulfillment in her dying years.
So, Jobina, you know, speaking of adolescence, adolescent boys do this thing where we ask each other questions like, how much money would it take for you to do some ridiculous activity or action? And at one point, I remember us talking like, would you have sex with a person who's dying of cancer? And people
this was on your adolescent list.
Yeah. People were like, I don't know.
Well, it's not like you're going to catch it.
But when you're young, you don't know. Like, you don't know if...
you don't know.
It's just like, do you want to be that intimately connected to someone with cancer? So that was my young mind, right? Like, now... Yes, I would. Like, I would have no hesitation. But, like, I just remember that coming up as, like, a hesitation.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give too much away about the show, but, like, part of the reason why she is on this quest is because her husband loses attraction to her as a caregiver. Like, he is her caregiver.
Right.
And so he stops being attracted to her because so much of what he's doing is watching her be ill and taking care of her health and well-being to the point that he just can't seem to be attracted to her that way anymore.
Yeah. Okay, Adolescence. What do we know about Adolescence?
We know that it's not on Hulu. It's on Netflix. It's back in my home base. It is a serious drama. It's a British show, so featuring several British actors that I was not familiar with.
Are you into do you like guys with a British accent? Like, is that something that gets you going?
Okay, love. Love a British accent. There's just something about, and really for me, any non-American accent.
Wow.
Most of them are very pleasing.
Wow.
But like British accents, we like them so much in my family. Like several members of my family are very adept at mimicking a British accent, including my kids. Like, we all love it. We love it.
I don't think it works the same way in terms of, like, attraction for British women. I don't know that guys talk about accents the same way.
They don't care.
That women do. But
guys are simpler creatures.
What did you know about it before we picked it? Like, what did you know about? Had you heard anything about this show?
Hadn't heard a thing. Obviously Netflix tells me what to do, but other than Netflix suggesting it to me, I had no clue.
Okay, so what is the show about?
So this show is about an adolescent, young 13-year-old Jamie, who is
Jamie Miller. Let me cut you off here.
Jamie Miller.
I went to high school with a girl named Jamie Miller.
Okay. Okay.
And she was fine, yo.
Girl.
Jamie, if you were out there listening to this, you were fine. I mean, she dated the star athlete at the school. Like she was.
Oh, she was that girl.
She was that girl.
She was that girl.
Yeah.
Well, this is not about that type of Jamie Miller. This is young Jamie Miller, 13-year-old boy who is accused of murder.
Yeah.
He's accused of murder. And it, the story follows his the opening scene is his arrest, and all the things that ensue from there.
So we already talked about the one shot that, so we talk about how does this show look, sound, and feel? They do this one shot, very artistic. Like when you watch it now, knowing that, you will realize the level of effort they went through. And
I gotta see it again.
And I looked it up. The director said they didn't do any trick cuts, editing tricks. Like they literally shot it all.
Just rolled the tape
with
camera.
One take. And I wonder how many times they had to restart because there's cars moving and doors opening.
You mess up a line, you whatever.
Do they have to go back to that? That seems outrageous. Like that
seems really difficult.
But the level of coordination. But what they said is they were looking to achieve a level of intimacy and a level of tension because they were cutting.
You could definitely feel the tension.
And,
you can feel
goodness.
it.
And they had a lot of close-up shots on people. Acne, whatever they were dealing with in their life,
had going on,
they were showing it
there.
And the characters felt very real. Like you felt their emotions.
The dad. Oh, you could just see his. Oh, wow. Yes.
So it was just it is a work of art. A storyline aside, which itself is wild. It was really a work of art and a joy to. I shouldn't say a joy. It was intense,
but beautiful to see.
And beautiful to see.
Yes.
Beautiful to see. Okay, so what themes came up for you? And I have a lot. I know you have a lot. What
Yeah, I was going to say we have a laundry list. So, okay, many things came up for me. One, of course, the title of the show is Adolescence.
Right.
This is a 13-year-old boy. Yeah. I wanted to talk about 13-year-old Luther. So, what were you like as a 13-year-old boy?
What is that, 8th grade?
First of all, were you accused of murder?
No, I was accused. I was not accused of murder at 13. Is that 8th grade?
Yeah.
I think 8th grade is when I decided to do something about liking girls. In 6th
you were
grade,
I got to put
grade,
this in gear.
Yeah, like you kind of notice. I'm like, oh, I feel a certain way about this other gender people.
About Jamie Miller.
And then by 8th grade, it was like, okay, I need to do something, but I have no idea what to do or how to do it.
You're like, I am going to make a move.
But I have no clue. I remember calling this girl in my class. So we barely spoke at school. I remember calling this girl in my class and saying, hey, can I speak to... I'll make up a name. Can I speak to Jennifer? And her parents were like, okay, put Jennifer on the phone. I said, hey, Jennifer, this is, Luther. I want you to be my girlfriend. And she said, oh, okay. Okay. And then the next day in school.
All right. She was game.
The next day in school, we high and buyed each other in the hallway. It did not have any communication in school.
No, it bombed.
When I tell you I did not know what to do, that was the extent, yo. That was the extent.
Yeah, you're like, I asked her.
Yeah, I had that was a lot of what was going on in my life at that time. Awakening to, also being athletic. I was a gifted student. I was good at school.
Good at school.
And then trying to figure out this girl thing. Those were, yeah. What about you? What was
your primary? Okay, so Luther, when I was 13, I was also in 8th grade, and I went to an all-girls school.
Oh.
So I was interacting with boys I don't think so.
Have you mentioned that before?
Never. I don't think I've ever told you this. So I went to this all-girls school.
Is that because you were a problem?
No. This was an elite.
They were like Jobina and these boys.
Up. No, I was such a good girl. I was such a good kid. But this was an elite academic school.
That's what they told you.
And so, whatever.
Did you all wear like gray uniforms?
No, we did. Okay, let me tell you. So we had the like plaid skirt, the white shirt, the tie, the sweater.
Oh.
Like, and when I was in 8th grade, of course, this was in the 80s. When I was in 8th grade, so don't you dare say the early 80s. Anyway, like there was this trend of wearing like, you wore tights, but you would rip all these like holes and runs in them. Oh. There was sort of like a grunge style that you could really like zhuzh up your uniform. But I just remember this school as being like just academically thrilling. Like
really?
I remember reading so many books that I was in love with. Mm-hmm. Like I was exposed to musicals for the first time. Like we watched all the classic musicals. Like I really liked the academics of the school, but I didn't really love the people. Like I was new at the school. It just didn't work out socially for me.
Right.
And like 8th grade, like 13 was probably my most awkward look. Like 13 was the year I got a relaxer for the first time. So it's like I used to have like little girl hair, and then I got a relaxer. My hair was flowing in the wind. Like, but I had like glasses, and I didn't have my look together when I was I did not have my look together when I was 13, and yeah, I just was kind of awkward.
Yeah, I will agree. I didn't have my look together either. I was trying to learn how to cut my own hair, and I just saw my high school friend 2 days ago, and I was reminding him how I used to cut my own hair the night before, and then I would bring my clippers to school, and he would clean me up.
He would clean it up at school.
At school in the morning the next day. That was that was my 13-year-old self. And I still cut my own hair to this day. And we're talking about his son. His son, he cuts his son's hair. His son doesn't cut his own hair. And I was like, yeah, like kids today don't have that same.
They don't have that skill.
They don't have that I'll do it myself type mentality. So something that came up for me in the show was no knock. They executed a no knock warrant. And
it sure did. They tore that door down.
It just seems like a great way to get a lot of people hurt. Because like people are allowed to own guns. You're busting into their house. Like there should be rare cases where this happens.
And this is a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, he's their 13-year-old boy, but just even generally, like even for like drug charges, like you're busting in a house. The police are on edge. Like anyone that twitches, they're going to shoot them.
It's bound to go wrong. Yes.
I just we got to do something about it. Like this just should not be happening at the rate it's happening. Who was the woman in Kentucky who died because of a no-knock warrant?
Breonna
Taylor.
Is that Breonna Taylor?
Yeah. It just we got to stop doing this. Like this just doesn't. It's lost on me.
Well, and you could just see. I mean, the dismay. You don't know what happened. His parents have no idea why this is happening.
Right.
The door's being torn down. Like they're trying to make sense of it. They're like, "This is our boy." Like it just was absolute mayhem. And you're absolutely right. Anything could have happened.
Total chaos.
Anything.
Total chaos.
Yeah.
The other thing that came up for me is there was a lot of care by the police department to protect this child, to make sure the child is safe.
Yes.
To have an adult, in the room when they're searching.
To make sure he didn't say anything. Like they just kept telling him, you don't have to say anything.
And it just made me think about all of the children who have been railroaded by the police, particularly black and brown children.
Yes, Lord.
Who didn't get that kind of care. So in a way, it's we've come a long way, but it makes me sad to think about. I mean, we know these stories of these kids who were 13 years old, accused of murder, and went to jail for 40 years, and then got out because they realized they got railroaded.
They didn't do it. Yeah.
I appreciated the care that this fictitious police department took. I wonder how real that is when they.
Well, yeah, especially because
they knew they had their person, right? And police departments do this all the time. We have our person. Yeah. They're guilty.
They're confident.
We're going to railroad him. I wonder if they really take that kind of care routinely.
Yeah. Well, man, it was such a terrifying thing. What came up for me is like how well you know your children, right? Because this family, they put their son to bed that night.
Yeah.
They're getting up the next day, and the police are banging down your door and accusing your child of murder.
Jobina, I would not even be able to process that. Like if this,
that's the thing. You can't even think.
If the police came to my house tomorrow morning, I would be like,
what is happening?
Right. And I would be the person who says, no.
Of course not. No.
Get out.
There's no way.
No, you're not taking my child. Like, I'd be that person. You're not taking my child. And meanwhile, there's 40 police officers. What I'm gonna do, right? But like, I would be like, no, you're not taking my child. She didn't murder anybody last night. Like, I just would not.
No, she was here.
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough.
It's terrifying.
So there's a scene where they get the family to the police station, and the police officer comes in and he asks the parents. So he's initiating conversation with the parents. And he said, "How you guys doing?" And it reminded me of my dad was in the hospital 6 months ago. And when you're in the hospital, you are constantly bombarded with people coming in the room, like nurses and cleaners and physical therapists and occupational therapists and speech therapists. And they would all say, "How you doing, Mr. Palmer?" And he would always say, "I'm in a hospital."
Right. What do you think?
I'm obviously not doing great.
Good on your dad for giving an honest answer.
Right.
No, I'm not good.
So when the police officer goes into these parents and says, "How you guys doing?"
He's like, "How you guys doing?"
You have my son.
Right.
And you're charging him with murder. How the hell
we're
do
not,
you think
we're not well.
I'm doing? Like, what? And so my
Lord.
dad now, he's in a nursing home, and I have to resist. So when I go over there, I want to say, "How you doing, Dad?" Like, I have to resist saying that because he's not doing great.
He's not well. Yes.
He's in a nursing home. He does not want to be there, and I don't want him to have to say that. Like, I don't want him to have to think
and pretend. Yes.
How am I doing? Like, I'm not doing good, son. Like, I don't want him to say, but it's
leave
difficult because we're just conditioned to, "Hey, how you doing?" Or
it's just socially what we do.
That's what we do. All right. Last thing that came up for me was the surveillance state. Are you for or against more cameras everywhere?
Oh God, this is such a hard question because on the one hand, something happens to me, I want there to have been a camera.
You want all the cameras.
I want there to be a camera so that my death can be avenged.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, I don't like the idea of everywhere I go, like, I'm on somebody's camera if I was outside of a store, if I was inside of a store, if I'm moving about in the city. Like, you're on camera all of the time. And that's unsettling.
Jobina, there was I think in Dayton, that's where I live, Dayton, Ohio, there was a conversation about some satellite program that they could record continuously so that if there was a bank robbery, they could rewind the tape and see where the vehicle came from.
Stop it.
To try to catch the criminals.
Okay,
and
this is terrifying.
the social justice people were saying, no, absolutely not. We don't want this level of surveillance. Like, we just don't want it. But you're right. Like, it's difficult because if my child was injured, if my child was involved in a hit and run, kidnapped, But do we trust the powers?
So we can solve it.
Do we trust the powers that be to use the equipment justly?
For good and not for evil. Yes, no, absolutely not.
So I think I come down on being against. I'm just not. And I think the UK or Great Britain or whatever, London, whatever you want to call it, I think they're ahead of us in terms of the surveillance game. I think they have way more cameras than we do.
Way more cameras than we do.
But also maybe there's cameras here that I don't necessarily know about. So I don't know. But it just seems like they're a little bit, or maybe the big cities. I guess I'm comparing Dayton, Ohio to London, which is not comparable. New York probably has a shit ton of cameras. So
yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, anything else for you? We have a lot of themes came up. Anything else?
We have a lot of things. I mean, well, this is a little bit akin to Do You Know Your Kid?
Mm-hmm.
And it is this this idea that two children can be raised in the same house,
yes,
by the same parents, and be so incredibly different. There is this psychologist that is on Instagram, and I'm not going to remember his name. He's an older man, but kind of newish in terms of his popularity.
Mm-hmm.
And he just talks about the fact that, like, you think you had the same parents, but because you are different people, you did not have the same parents. So he's like, the idea that two children raised in the same house would have all the same experiences it's just a ludicrous idea because the parents are different for each child. And that made me think about, like, gosh, how do I show up for each of my children?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, what are they going to say about that when they get older. Like I have lots of friends whose children are sort of young adults, and they're like, there's going to be a moment where the children turn the corner and they start to tell you all the things they didn't love about the way that you raised them.
Right.
And I can just imagine, like, what are each of my 3 children's experiences with me, and what will I hear about it when they're old enough to tell me?
Well, I mean, the joke is that your kid's going to blame you, right, for whatever.
Oh, for everything.
For everything,
right.
they're going to blame you. Their therapist, them and their therapist are going to blame you for everything.
Yeah, what are they going to say to their
Are
therapist?
you ready for
about
that,
me?
though? Like, are you ready for
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean, I can identify some places that where I have erred in my parenting. Like,
Like, make sure you tell your therapist about
I'm
this.
like, oh,
and
you
this.
might want to mention that. I mean, I know that I'm not a perfect parent, so I'm prepared for my children to point out things and to have questions about things, to want to talk about things. I think I'm open to it, as long as it's not. Everything that's wrong in your life can't be traced back to your parents.
I remember. Let's call it 20 years ago. My brother and I, he's a year and a half older than me, so we're close. We were.
Okay.
It was Shelly and the boys. Like, we were considered to be one unit because we were close in age and we always were
the
together.
boys. Yeah, me and my sister were the girls.
And we had
sure.
some political differences arose, and he's not conservative. Like, it's not like we were on
Right.
the opposite ends of the spectrum, but like we had some, and we still do, like have some differences in our politic. And I guess I'll say I'm way left, and he is just a little, like, he's lowercase left. I'm upper
Right. You're big L.
And it was just like, it was interesting to see, like, we came from the same house. Like, our parents are the same.
Same parents, same experiences.
And we think so differently about the world. It's fascinating to see. But now in this story, though, hey, what's the quote? We don't judge people by their worst action, right? Like, I think, who was the author that said that? The social justice,
I don't know.
the black, he does like Innocence Project type stuff. Anyway, he wrote this book. And he talked about getting people out of, like, he said, even people who are guilty of crimes can be over sentenced. Like we can't consistently judge this one person or this person by this one single act.
This one act
that they committed 17 years ago. Like we have to, like, people move on, people grow, people change. So this little boy committed this act. So I guess I'm not willing to say he's very different than her.
Than his sister.
He just had a moment. Like, he just had a moment. And I think that's our fear as parents, is that when children become adolescent, they can get themselves into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, well, because they think they know so much.
Right.
Man, my mom used to get on us about, you think you know everything. And then you experience, like, I mean, even my younger children who will ask me a question. Mommy, what does XYZ mean? And then I will tell them, and they'll go, that's not what it is. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, but why did you ask me if you think I don't know? And actually, I do know. I know what I'm talking about. And how dare you tell me that's not what it is? But they think they know everything.
Yeah.
And you don't realize when you're that young that your brain is just not wired for you to make sense of the world in the right way.
Yeah, what did I say?
And for you to be
they overestimate their abilities and underestimate consequences. That was the big
right. And that is exactly what happened to this young man.
Oh man. Okay, so more or less, what would you want to see more or less of?
Well, it's a little bit of the temptation that we talked about way back on the first episode of One Episode Stand. We were talking about Dahmer and this idea of, like, what made him that way. Like, I do want to, and it's like, is that relevant?
Yeah.
I want to see and hear Jamie's backstory to understand not what made him that way, because obviously I don't think he's a monster.
Right.
But what caused this incident? What happened?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to know more of the backstory, and not just the, like, how did it occur? Why did it occur? But, like, what was happening for this young man?
Yeah.
That he could have, it seems like he's a child from an otherwise fine family who's had good life experiences. Like, how did he find himself in a circumstance where he made this choice?
Yeah. So, this is a limited series. I think there are 4 episodes.
Yep.
My more or less is about British television in general, because they will put out 4 episodes and call it a season. And I'm like, that is not a season, folks. A season a season in America has 20 episodes. Like, what are we doing? But I would say for this, I'm going to want more than 4 episodes, period. Like,
You're gonna want more than 4.
I just, it's so good. It is
Yes.
so good.
But don't you think that's why they could only do 4? Like, it's a lot
Yeah.
for like a single take and all that.
Yeah.
4 is all they could
Yeah.
do.
And I wonder if they're gonna come back with another story. I guess I will say what I want to see more of is I want not a season 2, but like not a continuation of this story, but like
another adolescent story.
Adolescence story.
I would do that. I like that.
Because with the same level of artistry, the same level of like it was just so well done. Okay, marry, kill, or one night stand. I'm going to ask you about the black police officer, and I forget what his name is.
Me too. But I know what he looks like. I can see him in my mind's eye. I'm gonna say that I wish there was a 4th option. Could we like go to dinner and I'll
What?
see? I want to know more about him, but I'm worried that my finding out more is not gonna it's not gonna put me on the road to marriage. I don't know. This is a tough one. This might have to be a one and done for me with this guy.
A one night stand?
Yeah, I think so, because I think there's an undercurrent about him that makes me say maybe not all good. Like maybe not somebody I want to tie my whole life to.
Okay. But you think he's an attractive as a police officer? We have gotten a little bit distracted because we started rating
I know.
the actors,
we keep
but we're
rating the people,
the characters. Like
well, no, I am talking about the character because there's
okay.
something about him as a character, this particular character, that I'm just unsure is all good to the point where I would want to be married to him, especially as I don't know if a police officer. I'm not sure. So as the character, not as his personal self, but as the character.
What about? Did you ever have any personal hesitation dating a police officer or a member of law enforcement or a fireman? Like anyone who has a danger. Like was that ever like something you wanted to avoid? Do you like a man in uniform? Where are we at with that?
I guess a man in uniform is fine. I don't know that I have any particular interest in a uniform nor aversion. Like you meet somebody and they tell you they are in law enforcement. Like it doesn't make me recoil. It doesn't make me say it's the deal's off. You just have to know more. I have to know more.
You know what? I know women who say openly, I will not date a police officer because of the police and the black community have this friction. Women say I don't want to be involved in that friction.
In any of that.
I don't want to. I don't want to personalize that friction in this way, which I think is sort of painting with a broad stroke, but.
Yeah, well, I thought you were going to say it was because of fear for his life and his safety. Like, I mean, it is a job that comes with a level of danger that you don't have to. I mean, if you are, I don't know, maybe it's hard for me to think of a job that is free of danger, but you get what I'm saying. Like, there's more danger.
Your job is not free of danger.
Like, if you're. Well, I mean, I was just thinking, I was about to say if you're a teacher, but I'm like, well, I mean, with all the mass shootings, like that's.
I
mean, it's like you're sending your teacher husband to.
That really
it did. It made me concerned for everybody. I'm concerned for all.
But also, police officers have a higher than average rate of domestic violence. So that may be another reason to.
Wow, I thought you were going to say suicide. No, I don't know.
But you're one night stand.
It's not a particular. It's not a particular no for me.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm gonna give you Jamie's mum, his British mother.
She didn't do anything for me. I wasn't particularly drawn to her.
No.
I'm trying to. So I'm looking. I'm literally right now looking at pictures of her.
You're literally trying to remember what she looks like. Yeah.
She's actually kind of attractive, but
is she?
But I would say in the show, I'm a pass on her. Like as a.
Yeah, but you're not gonna pass her. You're gonna murder her.
As an actress. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh,
this is not a pass.
Been through so much.
She's been through so much.
Should I one night
take her out to dinner?
Should I sympathy? What do they call it? A sympathy sex? Should I sympathy sex Jamie's mother?
I mean, she's been through a lot.
Nah, I'm gonna have to let her go. I'm sorry. I'm
so
sorry.
much loss for this family.
So much loss. Okay, now for the question we've all been waiting for. Are you going to watch more of Adolescence?
Well, since there's only 4 episodes, I have to confess I watched them all already. And I loved every minute of it. It was so fantastic. It was so good.
Yeah, it was good. Now, you know, Jobina, I do not like child actors.
I know you don't.
And this show is led by a child actor.
By a child. And you made it through.
And I made it through. And I'm in.
You're in?
I'm
what?
This child.
This young man turned you around on child actors.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, just him. You still hated the sister, right?
Pump the brakes.
You're like, the sister was trash.
yeah. So that part, right? And then the other kids at school, they were all,
you hated them too.
They were all bad actors and bad actresses.
But he is,
he is good.
He's something.
So I am also going to continue watching Adolescence. So, all right, I think we hit it. All the things, man.
I think we did.
You know what? There's one other thing that I wanted to talk about. If you committed a crime, if you committed a major crime, Jobina,
oh God,
and a public defender comes in, would you trust that public defender with the truth? Like, would you say, "Sir, ma'am, I did this thing"? Like, I don't know that I've seen enough TV shows where that where not being truthful backfires.
I just wouldn't trust it.
But I trust
I mean,
this
first
person?
of all, I hope I wouldn't get stuck with a public defender. I mean, number one, let's roll the tape all the way back. I'm not going to commit a crime. I'm not going to commit a major crime. But like in this hypothetical situation, like, I don't know. I feel like public defenders are they're either daft or they're prone to not care at all about you. Well, and so it's like, can this person be trusted with the truth?
I'm not going to characterize it. I'm going to say this. They might be overworked. Let's say it that way.
Yeah. Overworked such they don't care anything about you.
Jobina, you can't say they don't care. Like, that's not.
I mean, maybe this is how they are portrayed on television. Who knows?
Okay, that is true.
Yeah,
they are portrayed. I wonder if that really bothers them when they.
They must. There's some good-hearted public defenders out there who are doing the best that they can.
Right.
Who are like, come on.
I don't know if I would trust. Okay, so that was it. I think we've covered all the things.
All of the bases.
All of the adolescence topics. Thank you all for listening to One Episode Stand. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast to be alerted when new episodes drop. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. The theme music is Freedom by Paradox Hip Hop, and we'll be back next time with another series premiere. Jobina, let's end on this. Every story has a moral. What was the moral of this episode?
Okay, the moral of this episode is if 13-year-old Luther asks you to be his girl, that's all he's got.
That's all you got.
That's all he's got.
That's all you got. My moral is you don't know your kids, yo. You just don't. You think you know your kids. You don't know your kids. Which is sad. Which is crazy. And kids, when I say kids today, they are into some major shenanigans.
Stuff.
And you think you know. You think you're checking their phone. You think you see their social media accounts.
You don't know.
You don't know.
But now, Luther, okay, I know we're closing out the show, but now you're making me think of something. You're making me think of something, which is, I mean, I feel like there is a point in your life where you cross over and you do tell your parents some of the things that were going on in your life that they may not have been aware of. Like, do you have that type of relationship with your parents where you're like, look, y'all, you thought I was in my room, but I totally snuck out.
I'm trying to think if I told them. I did. So one time, my parents were out of town. For some reason, I had my learner's permit, and I was home by myself with my mother's car. And I literally got in her car and drove to Meyer by myself. And for no, I didn't need anything.
No reason just to be doing it.
I'm not sure if I ever told them that story or not.
Well,
I was so scared.
Your opportunity.
I was so afraid. Have I told them that story? I don't know.
Now is your chance.
But I didn't do a lot of shenanigans when I was young. When I was an adolescent, I just didn't. I wasn't interested. I don't know. What about you? Did you tell your parents stuff?
I mean, some things, but I was like you. I was kind of a rule follower, so there wasn't a whole lot to tell about adolescence. But I feel like it's less like confessions and just like, here's how that looked from my perspective, which is always interesting because it's like, well, here's how my parents were looking at that circumstance, but here's what I thought. So my mom and I do some of those conversations where it's just like, here's what was going on, but here's what I was really thinking.
So you've talked to your mom about her parenting.
Yeah.
In great detail.
I mean, yeah, it's some circumstances like where it's just like, wow, we have a major disagreement about how something happened or like whether it was important. And then just like how I experienced her. And not all of it is bad. Like sometimes I'm telling her like how I experienced her and how much it helped me or how much it made me feel validated. Or it's just
that's the easy stuff.
giving her the perspective of my childhood from my view.
What did your mother do wrong? Tell us.
What did she do wrong?
What?
Let me tell you, my mom was perfect. She didn't do anything wrong. She might listen to this thing. Mommy, you were great.
That was weak. My mom was terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Mommy. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.